All right, this is a Zulu social experiment. The question here has got, how do we build this house? How do we build this skill-driven and equitable platform? Right, this house. Let's go back to the illustration that we made earlier on. What are we building? A skill-driven and equitable economy. And we build it by making contributions that are materials and hands. So practically, this is how we do it. There's something called the contributions form that you'll find on all the content that is put on our channel. And this is how we make contributions practically to the materials. What you will find as well on all of our content is every week we'll upload what we call a requirement form. So you'll be able to look to our requirements, custodian requirements form. You'll be able to see what we need to operate and actually run this social experiment. And you'll be able to decide pledge what you're able to contribute. So you'll be able to pledge. It'll be on a first come, first served basis. So that's what's happening there. So that's how we build. That's the first level, because we'll need basic equipment or devices, things like that, to be able to do what we do. So if we want to make a contribution financially or other ways, you can pledge through a contribution form. You'll find that on any of the content that's on the channel. You'll find the link to that form. Next thing is what we call a poll. For those who don't understand, a poll is like a way of, it's basically just a form that asks you questions about the content that you've consumed on the channel. And this is where we can start to have the discussion. And so we get to know what you think, how you understood what was said. And this is why we call this a thought experiment. So the whole why it's called a thought experiment, because we get to measure how what we've communicated to you, measure how well you've understood it, whether you agree with it, or whether you just need more evidence to, agree with it. So that's what you'll find. So participating in this polls is essentially like supervising the construction of the house, right? So this is what we call supervised hands. So this, you'll find the content forms on all the content that's on the channel as well. Now, what you have, the last level, the most dopest level of communication when you really engage in us, is when you actually create content and actually openly discuss your opinions, your perspective, humor. You don't have to agree either way, confident about what we're doing or skeptic about what we're doing, hate or love what we're doing. If you attach the links to your content that you create on our forms, you're basically making a substantial contribution. So essentially what we're going to do, like we said, when we build this, what's the incentive for this? Let's go back to our example. Those who make the contributions get a share in the rent that comes from those tenants that will use our platform once it's set up. All right. So this is what the rent share would look like. So unlike conventional businesses, most of the value goes to those who have the skilled hands, those who create the content and actually get involved in the discussion. Those who participate in the forms, like basically just filling in the forms, giving us an indication of whether they understand what is being said, whether they agree with what is being said. That's going to be a 30% share of that, and then 20% is those who contribute financially or otherwise, practically, in terms of whatever requirements that would be needed to run the social experiment. So this is essentially how we're going to build this house. All right. That's the Zulu social experiment. And by the way, when this rent is shared, it's shared according to the extent of your involvement in this thing. So everybody will get like what we call a participation. level, that will basically be your shareholding in the rent. So based on how far you participate and how much you get involved in this, that will determine your share in the rent at the end of the day. So awesome. That's how we build.